Mama Jen, she gets on mama duty because daddy's away, so she's got both kids wrangling it down. She might jump in the chat. But to make up for it, of course, our residential doctor, James Earl Corley. How are you, brother?
Doing good. Not only that, I was last week, but I'm excited to meet the team that I've been loving this season.
Yes, yes. Team Retail Love. Victor, Jocelyn, how are you?
Wait, aren't you supposed to do your thing?
If you haven't barked from that yet, then yeah.
You know me. I love love. Now, if Joey was here, he'd be the one be like, "Oh my God, it's so cheesy. Love, love, love." You know, he hates
he's
love.
He's a little softy now that he's married.
Yeah. Now that he's found a little princess, he's like, oh, now he's all about the love. So maybe he'd be about you guys. So welcome to the show. Let's get some things cleared first. Jocelyn, I heard you hate me from watching my season. Why?
Well, Justin, I hate you from watching your season in all fairness.
and you raced with him.
I don't hate you. I think you were a little aggressive.
Yes.
Maybe I should put it that way. And of course, you're a New Yorker. What can I say, right? Like, we're from Texas, New Mexico, and we're very chill. That's what we do. And then you're like, gotta go. But I do have, like, when I saw you start crying, I was feeling for you. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sad. Don't let him go out within the first, 10 minutes. That would be awful.
Little did you know he was going to cry at every turn, regardless of how good or bad he was doing.
Yeah, but that was the crazy part, because in my mind, you're this giant person, but yeah, I see you with more tears over and over again. I was like, next time you bring a box of tissue when I see you in person.
The toughest guys that you've ever met in your life are the softest guys you've ever met in your life. They have to be extreme one way, and when they're extreme one way, there's only one way to go. There's the extreme the other way. Plus, I got a chemical imbalance in my head, so there's a reason that I have high highs and low lows.
Well, the other reason, it was really hard for me was because Victor have you on 24/7. I mean, you have officially, prior to getting on the show, you were like my nightmare, because when I wake up and I'm brushing my teeth, and there you are behind me. When I'm about to go to bed, there you are behind me. You and James Oro are constantly talking, and Victor's like, guess what I learned today? Oh my gosh, what did you learn today? This is what they said. Oh, okay. And I'm about to go to bed. It's 1 a.m. And there you are, James Oro, and I'm sitting there talking. No more recap. It's over and over, like a rerun. And so all I hear in my head is the two of you talking over, in my dreams.
But what better place to get the right information from people who've actually run the race, right? Yes. I mean, you guys give out such great information.
I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up our ass. But I wish there was a racers recap before our show, because there wasn't that much behind the scenes stuff, and we know all the things that we could see, and we learn as much as we can before you go on a show. You want to study. This is the most important test you'll ever take in your life. This is the test of whether you can win $1 million or not, and just do some studying. So there was no place like that. So when we did our podcast, it was like, hey, we want to clear up some things from our season, but also we want to tell you these little things that we did behind the scenes that really made the difference. And James Earl was one of those people that was on those little things right from the beginning. So I knew immediately I wanted him on the show as well, because he thinks exactly like I do. He's looking for that angle. And Victor, you guys listening to the show, you can find those silly little things that just give you the angles.
And and this is the thing too, you have to remember too, is a lot of the teams that are going in are not going to be the most physically dominating team, right? So everyone thinks it's going to be the most physically dominating team, but it doesn't take that. You just have to find that little advantage to get ahead, just a little bit behind. There were teams that were physically stronger than me and Mom. I know we didn't make it to the finale, but there are teams that we beat out that were truly physically stronger than us. And it's just finding a little bit of advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, every team was physically stronger than us. So
first place twice. This led a little, not as much. But first place twice.
Yeah, to start the race off. So now you guys got first place twice. Start the race off. You're like, at first when people are looking down the line, they're not thinking that you guys are the ones to worry about. After 2 legs, did you guys start to feel like you were the team that's going to be targeted if a U-turn came up, or did you still feel like, hey, we're the older mom and dad, nobody's going to worry about us?
Well, you know, because even from the beginning, when you know, we had to go and kind of do our pre-race interviews and everything, you know, they said bring all your stuff, and it's like I was the only one with one backpack. It's like,
are you answering the question?
no, I am. But the thing, I'm trying to get there. So she doesn't like it when I try to give, you know, like the backstory or whatever. So I'm getting there. So you know, so I thought that people already kind of.
Is this an hour show? Or is it 2 hours?
This is however long we want it to be. Normally about an hour.
Like, oh, I think I might call out. Go ahead and order your takeout because it's gonna be 2 hours. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, oh man, now you're making me forget. I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Okay. Go ahead.
So people already looking at us. So then, like, you know, after we win that first leg, feels like, hey, what do you guys think? You know, and I'm just thinking, I don't really care that we came in first, you know, because it doesn't mean anything, because you see how teams do well and all of a sudden they don't, right? And then vice versa. So then after the second one, I think he kind of got in my head a little bit, but then it's like, well, yeah, we did well, but who knows what country we're going to next, right? But then all the other teams, they're friendly, but who do you think, you know, we're thinking, are they going to U-turn us? Because all these people are talking, and if we're going to be apart from everybody else, you know, you can't control what they're going to say and what they're going to do.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
But long story short, I think what he's trying to say is we are a target.
we ended up, I think we did, because we ended up talking to Todd and Ashley afterwards, and it's like that was kind of the talks, like, hey, Victor and Jocelyn are doing way better than anybody thought. Maybe they should get U-turned.
Yeah, but for sure, Team Philly was telling everybody, like, no, you guys are it. If you guys get to the elimination, like, we were gonna vote you. And then so we were a little bit concerned. But I mean, seeing like Annalise going across, like Team Texas, I was really afraid. Like, just how agile she is, and then how tall the dad is. I mean, they're a very fierce competitor, and I was just looking at them like, oh my God, we're in trouble.
Trust me, I'm from the South. I know you don't mess with pageant Texas girls.
You're intense.
Yeah, they got enough cattiness fighting between them girls. Yeah, and I mean, just looking at people like Todd and Ashley, they're like giants among like.
Oh, he was easily like, you know, 1.5 feet taller than me. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean when we're in that room while we're waiting, of course we can't talk to each other, but just kind of looking around, I think I was fearful of Todd and Ashley, just because, I mean, Todd is very friendly. He's talking to Ashley, and they just look like such a cute, bubbly couple, and on top of their physique. And I was just thinking, oh, they're so beautiful. And they're fast and awesome. And look at the two of us. We're like all wrinkly.
Well, and here's the thing. It's like we're looking around the room. It's like, I can't figure out who the weakest team is. So now in retrospect, well, maybe it's us, because, you know, so we can't figure out who else is the weak team. So yeah.
Weakest physically is only going to hurt you for a couple legs. As long as you have stamina and smarts, you can win the Amazing Race. I mean, you do need the stamina part, and that's a lot. That has to do with training. And
mental stamina too.
Yeah, mental and physical.
Really trained for, and I think that's what you're going to start seeing in this episode. As you see. You know, all that food from the pre-production week, you've burned all that off. You're running on like the 500 calories a day, not doing the sleep. So that mental fatigue is hitting in. And that's when you start seeing teams break down a little bit.
All right, so let's get into it.
Thanks to you guys. Sorry, thanks to you guys. I have like so much candy and power bar packed all over my backpack.
Yes.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, because you don't get a lot of food when you're on the race.
Like I have stash of candy. It was weird. Like I just pulled out bags of candy.
Yeah,
I mean, even though we had one backpack, but we had lots of food.
I don't know who would actually take the time to go and buy food like while you're racing.
Yeah. I brought 60 protein bars from the first at the first leg. We had 60 protein bars.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to bribe people like Team Texas to give us the express pass. I'll give you 20 protein bars. All right, let's get into it. No Sleep and $1 Million Dream, episode 399. That's right. The next episode is going to be number 400. That's a big milestone in the entertainment industry. Here we go. Victor and Jocelyn leaving a half hour before anybody else, which means they dominated that last leg because nobody was close to getting first place. You were a half hour from the first team behind you and an hour and 20 minutes ahead of the third place team. You guys really crushed it. What do you think made the difference to give you that big of a lead?
I think we picked the right challenge. That the market challenge was absolutely hands down the best thing, because we were only a few minutes ahead of Corey and Rob leaving the Lotus challenge, right? And so, but
Wow.
that pomelo, the pomelo thing that they chose, that was just physically grueling. There's no way we thought we would ever want to be outside again in the hot Thailand sun. So it's like, do a market challenge. It's spelled phonetically. I don't have to read Thai, so I got it. I mean, I'm a language person, so anything that has to do with language, even if I have to rap in French, I think I do it.
Yeah.
I did fine with that challenge, for the record.
Yeah, it was Mama.
Yeah.
Mama was tough. So you guys took a huge lead. Morgan and Lena left at 7:08. That was an hour and 40 minutes behind you, and then. I mean, you were 3.5 hours ahead of 3 different teams. So you guys must have felt really good leaving at this leg. Like, we're definitely not going home. We got 3.5 hour lead on the 3 teams.
I mean, I think when we were at a travel agency, we were feeling very positive. I mean, because we were. The travel agency didn't even open. We were sitting outside the door for a whole hour just waiting. Yeah. And then, so I was crawling underneath the gate and say, hey, it is 7:59. Do you think you can?
I love it.
And then the guy, you can see his feet and he comes and goes, no, 8 o'clock.
He seriously told us, I don't actually open till 9 o'clock. I'm coming in an hour or 2 early just for you guys.
Yeah. So it was that. So then I think we were feeling very positive going in, and because we're like, oh, we're the first team to arrive and try to get the ticket.
But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, air travel, that's an equalizer right there. There's,
Yeah, but you never know what the next flight is going to be, right? It may be train, it may be in the same city. That time means something. That time, so that's how Mom and me got eliminated. Is we were an hour behind every other team when we started the lead that was in the same city, and we lost by 4 and 7 minutes. So our mistake was actually on lead 9, which wasn't the lead we were eliminated on. So those times can make a huge difference.
Yeah, because that's what we were thinking of. At first we thought, oh, we were way ahead, but then once we got to the airport, I think that's where I was really concerned, because I think what they're not showing is once we arrive at the airport, you start seeing this board and all this flight that's going to Vietnam.
Oh, there were way more flights.
There were at least 10 other flights going into Vietnam before our time.
Did you have to book at the travel agent, or could you go to the airport?
We had to book through that.
And then once we made those reservations, we weren't allowed.
Yeah, you can't change it.
And then so of course we've been to a couple of overseas a few times, so we were trying to. So I was going to every single ticketing counter and see, hey, can we try to switch? Can you bump us?
Right.
But if you've ever been in Asia, I mean, people are crazy. They don't have one luggage or one suitcase. They have 10 cases. Where are you going?
With one of them got 10? Live chickens, and they're just where does this go?
Yeah. And then so of course. So then the line to get through and to really be on standby was atrocious. So then, but however, I did try to cut in line and try to say, hey, is there a potential for us to get on your flight? And then the ticketing agent's like, no, we're full. There's no way. So then we just kind of step back and wait. And then it wasn't until when we heard other team that somebody got 145, that's when we were.
Yeah, because we actually saw that there was that flight, but we thought, there's no way, it must be booked because it wasn't offered to us.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So then we knew we were screwed.
So what some people, if you haven't traveled internationally, some countries you can't get flights. You're not legally allowed to buy tickets at the airport, and sometimes the Amazing Race goes to those countries, and then there's other times on the Amazing Race where they don't want you to go book at the airlines because it's probably 10 to 20 times more expensive in certain countries rather than double the price here. So you book through a travel agent and so you can get a deal. Because that was the biggest expense in the Amazing Race, was travel back in the day when teams used to book 4 seats on this flight, 4 seats on this flight, and then they used to get 3 and 4 flights booked, and then after a while I was like, slow down on the flights, bro. I remember that one of the flights we took was $8,000. I'm like, holy cow.
Oh.
Huh?
one to India was.
Yeah, it was like 8,000. I'm like, oh my god, they're booking these flights with the credit card. I'm like, Jesus, 8,000.
That's crazy.
I don't think we ever saw the price.
No, I don't think we saw the price either. So I
That was
think
the only time we did is when we were going from Poland to India. So we had to like book it at the airport.
Yeah, and we had when there was booking ones on the app, we could see the prices when we were booking it on the app for the Travelocity. What's up, Joey Cavino? They don't have electricity in Boston. It's a tough thing to keep going up there.
I'm having work done to the house. There's crap everywhere, as you can see. Sorry, I just had an electrician at the house, and all of a sudden my power went out a little while ago. So we're back here. It's up. It's so sorry. Oh, hi, Victor and Jocelyn. How are you? Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, let's.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. We're just kicking it off anyway. Rob and Corey, the first thing they do when they sit down is they immediately say, "Give us the same flight as them."
Yes.
Strategically, strategy-wise, going in, is that the mindset of a winning team?
Well, I think he knew. I think he thought that we had an advantage in not only in language and because we came in first place, and then so he thought that would be the best. Like whatever flight we got on, it has to be the best.
Because there was a flight technically before you guys, like 5 minutes or whatever before you, right? So he could have gotten a better flight than you if he tried to book it on his own.
No, I think there was another flight like about 5 minutes difference, either before or after ours that some other teams had gotten that we found out about later. But those we weren't presented with that option.
Because I think we had a list of flights that you cannot take. Like there are airlines that you cannot take.
Yeah, some of them are just garbage. They're just dangerous.
You may never survive that flight. So,
yeah, the crew's worried about their $1 million camera equipment and stuff showing up at the next place. So they're like, no, we don't go on that airline.
No.
All right.
Corey is very smart and he's very skillful. I mean, just talking to him, he's amazing.
Jocelyn, that wasn't from Justin. That wasn't a knock on Corey. He just hates teams that follow. Any teams that follow, he'll knock.
Yeah, it's like that's the following. It's the following mentality. I want to be the leader. I'm not like following means you're not winning. Yeah. Like so, if you have a followers mentality, you're not winning.
I think for us, we went into it thinking we're running our own race. We're not, of course, something else different happened on the top of the roof at the Biltmore, but.
Going into the race, there's you and there's a James Earl on Victor's side.
This is my logic with this specific scenario with airplane travel. I don't want to be on a plane by myself. I want to be on another team because if there's some massive delay and my flight gets canceled, I at least have a chance to beat them.
Exactly.
That's exactly what
that's the only caveat with the flights early in the leg.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the race, no. Like the end of the legs, no. You don't need to be following people and don't need to be chasing people if you're running to the pit stop. But at the start of the leg, I want to at least have a chance to beat another team.
Yeah, that's exactly how Corey, he vocalized that. He actually said those things like, hey, as long as we can see you guys, then that means we're good. And then so that's what he said.
Yeah, because we've been first.
But I have to say.
I will say strategically, I'm not going to choose to follow the team that has beaten me twice.
Hey, but we're winners. We're winners. We're doing something right. So.
Yeah, but he can't beat you. So he's like,
let's beat you. That's like you saying, I'm going to follow Justin every part of the leg. Yeah, cool. I'm not going to pass him.
Unless you got that express pass.
Beat Justin a handful of times. I did.
Well, but I think what they saw was they did the pomelo. They thought that they had a chance to get first, right? But we actually beat them by quite a bit. And so that's when they probably thought, well, maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe for them it was the right detour, but I think anybody else who did that detour after us, they had it easy because those ladies at the market, they were so into it. They asked me
running around like a maniac showing people stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she wanted so much airtime. She was
She's so adorable. Victor's not tall, but when you're in Thailand, Victor's a giant. Oh, yeah. And all these ladies like, Victor, you're so cute. And then when he's and when he said game, the opposite word is like
because they asked what
and
do you guys do?
And then the lady's like, game.
Victor spitting game at the market. What's up,
No,
Vic?
no. 'Cause they asked, "What are you guys doing? What's with all these cameras?" And then it's like, "Oh, we're playing a game." It's like, "Oh, you're playing a game," and it's like, "Oh, they were so into it after that."
Seriously, what I didn't say is on that Thai massage when I like we went to Thailand in our honeymoon, and then when I thought, okay, oh God, we're doing a Thai massage, the image come into my head is where we were on this tour and we're being like tossed into this little dingy, like really disgusting dark room, and the lady who was massaging Victor kept rubbing his butt, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, ew.
She's just jealous, you know. So.
Yeah, I can see she's getting a little jealous of all the ladies
I
giving
know,
you
I'm like,
attention.
Stop touching him, and then Victor's like sleeping.
You would hate to have Joey on the race because he would have been squeezing his butt too, just to mess with your head during the race.
I've been squeezing my own butt.
So John was in Vietnam last year, so that could be an edge. We'll see if that comes into play. It didn't look like it, but maybe. Joe and Ian got lucky as canceled seats became available as they got there, and they got that one guy who they said was like took a 10-minute break before booking their flights. They sat down and he was like, I'm going on break. He went outside to smoke a cigarette and they were fuming. and
Union.
they were going to switch and go to the other guy. And then he came back in and had better flights. And I was like, holy cow, that is just pure luck. There's really nothing that they did to get that advantage. It was just happened to get really lucky.
That's
Is
part of
it
it, right?
pure luck?
10% of the race is luck. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you.
Well, yeah, and then our flight, there was no indication. We got there so early. I think we were at the airport at like 9.
There were nobody in that terminal.
There was no indication that the flight was delayed or anything. So we thought, we got to get through customs. Let's just go in. This was only maybe like 2 hours before the flight, 3 hours, 2.5. So we thought, let's just go and we'll just wait. Mm-hmm. It was at the very end of the terminal. There was not a single person. We were the first 2 people that went there. There was nothing. The boards didn't even say that the flight was delayed. I mean, the ticketing agent didn't show up until after the time the flight was supposed to depart.
Like an hour after the.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was like the worst airline ever.
I was fuming. I was pacing back and forth.
She's trying to make me run back, and it's like,
know.
check it. I'm not running back a mile just to go check some boards and then come back.
It was
So,
pretty good.
how did you guys feel, Joey? How do you feel about having the airport drama? Todd and Ashley, Steve and Annalie are just absolutely pissed that Joel and Garrett got on the early flight. Ian and Joel got on the early flight, and then boom, the delay comes. The early flight's delayed by 1 hour and 45 minutes. And it's like, boom, the whole race changes. The 4 teams that were in the lead are now in the second plane, and there's 2 teams in the lead. And then there's another whole group that's 4 hours, almost 5 hours behind the second group. This is just like the worst nightmare when it comes to the Amazing Race.
I thought it was absolutely amazing, and it was totally old school Amazing Race stuff.
Oh, I love
especially with the 3 flights. And the first thing I thought about when the second they said it was delayed, I would say, well, maybe I could try to get on one of these other flights. Is it going to be delayed again? Was there that second flight? Could we get one of those seats? Because there's always those I don't know how it is abroad, excuse me, but in the United States they always have those 3 seats in the back for children, for unaccompanied minors. So all you really need is one more seat. Sometimes they hold the top, the first row seats for handicapped people. So those always get released after ticketing. So is it smart to, kind of go across the airport to try to see if you can catch another flight like that? But you run into the same thing that James Earl said, is you don't want to be that one person, that one team that's traveling alone and then something happens.
I mean,
but I absolutely love the drama.
I don't know if we've ever mentioned on here, and I think we have. It almost happened to Justin and Diana on that very first leg. Their flight almost ran. They were having to circle, wait to land.
Yeah.
And their plane almost was running out of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had circled for 5 more minutes, they were going to have to land in another country.
Yep.
Another city, and they would have been out.
We would have lost.
Wow.
Because we were the only ones on that flight. Every other team was on the flight, and then we were circling. We had that lead, a half-hour lead, turned into a 5-minute lead. And if we don't land right now, we're going to be 8 hours behind everybody else. And they were like, He was the guy. The captain's on the thing is like, we're waiting. If we don't get the go ahead to land now, we're gonna be diverted to like a whole nother country. And it's like, oh my god! And I was like,
The Swole sisters on my season when we went to Panama. Was it Panama? Yeah, we were going to Panama. No, we were going to Brazil. They jumped a completely separate flight and went to Colombia. And they almost missed their connecting flight, but they were supposed to get in 3 hours ahead of everybody else. That they got delayed in Panama, and they almost missed that connecting flight.
yeah,
So
it's tough. Yeah, but I think this is the thing that the Amazing Race has been missing. This airport drama.
Really, the airport drama?
Especially when you go to, especially when they're
more
not
fights than
direct
the
flights.
airport drama.
When you're traveling about 8, 10, 12 hours, that's where it, because you have so many different routes. We went from Brazil to, where the hell was it? Tanzania, and then from Tanzania to Norway. So we had these huge legs. So it was insane. So there was all sorts of different flights you could take. And we were doing the same thing. We were running into the little travel agencies, but that was the whole thing. When you're worried about that, well, we're starting late with this, and then you get to that board where it's you pull up the 15-minute card and you're like, okay, now it's a crunch point. So it's like you did all that worrying for nothing. It's nerve-wracking.
That's exactly what I was thinking though, because we're going to Vietnam, and then the instructions were then you have to take a bus from Ho Chi Minh City to this other city, and that was like a 3 or 4 hour bus ride. So you're going to get there so late anyway. I can't think of any leg where they made you race in the middle of the night doing some crazy challenge.
Right, right.
There haven't been a whole lot of those, unless it's like the final challenge. So then, so I just figured we're gonna end up getting bunched up. So I'm not gonna stress out too much about it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I don't like airport drama. I'd rather just be on charter fly and go, let's go do our challenges once we get there, versus the airport drama. Like
the strong, obviously,
are you an hour ahead of me?
Any teams that
it's not the amazing detour. It's not the amazing roadblock. It's the amazing race. And the race is that's part of it, which is awesome. It's definitely less stressful. Definitely less stressful.
That's so cute. Molly is in the house, and she says that she sees a lot of her and her sister in Greg and John, and has them as the winner pick, but is definitely rooting hard for Retail Love, Morgan and Lena, and Robin Corey. Nice.
Wow.
Those ain't bad picks. Not bad picks. Molly was one of those other teams that was a little bit of an underdog pick that James Earl was on right from the beginning. Underdog pick that really just went out there and proved it. Like, look at us. We work together. We're smart, and we have mental and physical stamina, and they made it through everything.
Molly made me look like 10 pounds of shit stuffed in a 5-pound bag in my prediction.
All right, so Joe and Ian got lucky. Airport drama's back. Early flight gets delayed. Anna Lee used to catch and race frogs. Does not surprise me. Even though she is a pageant queen, she's still like daddy's boy. Like, she's daddy. Like, everything daddy wanted to do with his son, that's what they said he did with her. So I expect her to be catching frogs and shooting squirrels and whatever
Did
they
you
do.
catch the villain comment there?
What villain comment was that?
She's like, oh, that sounds like a really nice upbringing.
Oh, I was about to say Robin doesn't have anything in common with anyone, and I wrote, that she doesn't have anything in common with anyone. So Robin could be the villain if they stick around long enough.
Yeah, totally. As soon as they both said that at the same time, I'm like, now I want to hate you. I'm not sure.
I don't think they're gonna be around long enough to get a villain at it.
How much does that team bond with y'all as a cast, Robin and Chelsea? Because we had a team on our season that was like completely isolated from everyone else. Like just did their own two things.
Same.
Like didn't talk to anyone else.
Well, at this point, we have not seen anybody from the second flight leaving LA.
Oh wow!
So it's the only people we ever bonded with were that first flight group of teams.
So you don't like slip messages during breakfast? Because our cast would do that all the time. Like, we'd like breakfast and like, hey girl, like we were.
Well, yeah, Tiffany and Krista and the Texas boys were constantly slipping stuff to each other.
Wow. No.
No, I think we all had different call times for the morning.
Yeah, James Earl was a little more sneaky about his, because he was
I
smart.
chatted with everybody, but I'll leave you with it.
We're trying to listen to the doors, like what's happening.
No,
but
that's
it
kind
was,
of like
it was hard.
that's kind of like Todd. He found out so much information. I mean, he found out that we came in first twice, and that was without talking. It's like, dude.
Like
See,
Morse code.
Chris and I, like, she'd be running through with a van, and she'd be like, 8th place is the runners. 8th place is the runners.
All right. So here we go. You guys get this long flight, and then you land, and you got to take a long bus ride. These back-to-back different forms of transportation really tend to mess with you because you can't get any sort of consistent sleep. You can't really get comfortable. But the cool thing is that Ian and Joe got there at 6:30. They booked a flight, a ticket for a bus at 6:31. Joel and Garrett got there at 6:31, booked a bus at 6:32. It seems like this place was just like buses were just flying out of this place. Do you guys have any sort of problem getting a bus? Any sort of waiting getting a bus? Or was it immediate?
We barely caught our bus. Like we bought the ticket and then hopped on, and then it just took off. But because I think after a certain time, we thought that the buses stopped running after midnight or something, right? So we wanted to make sure that we didn't miss. So we got in.
No, because I'm not sure how the bus system was, because they didn't want to sell us the ticket at all, because we're trying to get onto that 7:30. They didn't want to sell it to us, and then so I had to convince them, like, no, please, we need to be on that bus. And then so finally, all of a sudden, we got the ticket, and then Rob and Corey got the ticket like right after us, and then so yeah.
So it was a 4-hour bus ride. We got a first bus at 6:31, next at 6:32, next one at 7:30, and then and then there was the last bus that arrived at 5 a.m. So when people arrived there, there is a hotel that was waiting for you guys that you guys could have slept in if you got there early enough, correct?
Yeah, we didn't know. We thought we were going to have to sleep on the pier or something like that.
So teams that got there early could have gotten a nice couple hours sleep, whereas the teams that got there on that last bus, it was like 5 a.m. So it was like almost immediately getting off the bus and continuing right along on the race with like a half hour just to relax. So that could make... Good.
But the bus is very cool. Like if you think about first class, like you're flying first class on the airplane, that bus is like a first class bus. It actually lounges and
if you're short.
If you're short. If you're not Todd and Ashley. Yeah.
I was like, Todd and Ashley sitting in there like this. Up. Yeah. So let's talk. Good.
But it's pretty cool because you have your little TV and the curtain comes.
Oh, you had a TV. Did they let you use it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Sometimes Amazing Race doesn't let you use like TVs or phones or radios, or they take them out of your rooms.
They take the TV out, and it got real boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's Vietnamese. I didn't understand it, and it's like karaoke or something. I guess it's but yeah.
So okay, let's get to some of the drama. You get to the board. There's 3 separate piles of cards, and they're in 3 separate boxes. We have to lift it and take out the things. The first team that gets there takes out the cards. There are only 3 545s in the early one. The first team that got there showed that. So that 4th one could only have been put in the 3rd section by production.
Well, because
you guys obviously don't know, but I'm just saying.
We didn't know because
we thought that we had looked through them, but it was dark.
We didn't look at the 3rd slot because I didn't want to get in trouble. Because I remember, if you temper with the times and stuff, I didn't want to get in trouble and get delayed. So I figured, okay, if I look through all mine and then I only see the same card, then it must, like, assuming that the next one must all be 15-minute delay.
But you have like 5 hours, you have 6 hours, whatever, until the thing starts. Why not just take the time to go look at any point?
Because I was afraid we were going to get in trouble.
Oh, you thought you were going to get in trouble for looking.
Same thing is like counting. It's the same thing as like counting the clues in a clue box to see how many people are behind you.
Yeah.
So I would have went through every single one of them.
Maybe
there was one that was like, oh, go now. Like
to me, I feel like I failed you as a like I didn't give you that information on a racer's recap at some point. I feel like I swore that I make sure you check all the times before you pick yours.
I know,
Yeah.
but see, Victor, keep telling me, don't do that, don't do that. You're gonna get in trouble the whole entire time. Like what they don't show you half the
You know,
time.
you just don't
Victor
know.
is
I mean,
telling me, calm down.
What?
You know, this is rules.
making it
We
up
can't
now.
do
Just
this.
making it up.
No. I have to say, James Earl, I blame you. Like in our next episode, if something bad happens, I blame you.
I'm loving this.
You're,
Go on, keep
you're
going.
right here telling Victor, oh no, we can't do that. We can't listen to Jocelyn.
I hate that.
Wow, we'll find
No,
out
don't
what
listen to it.
happens with James Earl is to blame. Oh no.
No.
Take a screenshot of James Earl right now.
I know.
No, he's
Sorry.
like the best guy on there. You can't blame
Little
him.
balls
For
of sweat. Like
but-
little
but
balls of sweat coming down his face.
Lewis and Michelle, I totally agree. I always ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Always.
I don't ask anything.
So let's get to like, all right, Anna Lee is the one that did it. Anna Lee comes in the last group and she's like searching through, not picking the right ones, searching through. She grabs it. Two other teams see her as she's grabbing it and are just like furious. How did that one get in there? What? And just and Anna Lee is just sitting there like, that's what I do. I'm not picking it. I'd feel pissed off at myself if I didn't look through it, which is the smart thing. I mean, good for her. Like she's really showing some grit early on. I think Dad will be the downfall. I don't see them winning, but I think that she is a lot more skilled at this game than I expected her to be.
Oh yeah, she's fierce. I mean, just seeing her going across that tightrope, she's
Oh, I could
scary.
expect a little fierceness, but she's got the brains to go with it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, you don't mess with Texas pageant girls.
Well, listen, I know that Caddy.
This.
You know, Amazing Race does also have the pageant girl who did like and such as things and maps and stuff. No, we won't talk about. They did.
Yeah. So again,
but I mean, she's also, you know, she's also really cool. I met her and she's awesome. I can't believe that's
You
a
met
highlight.
her?
Yeah, when I went to LA, I reached out to a bunch of people that I wanted, a bunch of racers that I wanted to meet, and we went to
I
lunch.
see.
And she was like, "Yeah, come out." I was like, "Cool."
Jocelyn Victor, you'll be surprised how many like past racers you'll end up meeting.
Anywhere you go, there's a racer around. If you go anywhere in the United States, there's a racer that you could just kind of be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And let's go to lunch. Let's get a drink. It's so cool.
And then every season, you know, they always have a finale somewhere, and a lot of the like old racers will go to those as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, except I
Justin,
think
do
we're
you
the only
think-
ones
Justin, do you-
from New Mexico,
Mexico.
or at least Albuquerque.
Now, so now you have to come to Albuquerque.
Hey, don't correct me with a good time.
Yeah. If for any reason I'm driving through that state for any
For
reason,
any
reason.
Going to California.
going through,
Vegas.
nobody stops
Steve
there.
and
It's
Anna Lee
just
can make it to the final three.
what?
Do you think Steve and Anna Lee can make it to the final three?
No,
Why?
Dad.
Like what's your big hold up with Steve?
Dad, he's good at calming her down. I don't think he's good at much else.
How do we know that?
He's way too passive. He's way too passive.
His
I'm gonna go
lowest
ahead and
roadblock
disagree.
is not the most inspiring, Joey. I will give Justin that.
I just feel like he's just way too, like, his attitude is like, well, you know, she's just a firecracker and, you know, I just can't do anything about it, you know? Mm-hmm.
But
I think they're making it
sometimes
far.
that,
I think they're making it far.
sometimes that helps a lot.
Yes. And other times it'll cost you the race, and I think that's what's going to happen. This is just my opinion. I'm not always right, just 99% of the time. All right, so route info, a 4-hour bus ride with lay-down seats, and then you get to this floating market board where that big 4-hour lead, 10-hour lead, 100-hour lead comes down to 15
matter.
minutes. Hate the equalizer legs. All right, so how do you guys feel about these equalizer legs when teams have a huge lead? For me, I'm going to put this out there. I think during these, instead of instantly giving you that 15-minute bunch point, there should be some sort of advantage for the first teams, like a U-turn board, where you guys are the first ones to get there and still, okay, you can make your U-turn and then go pick up your 15 minutes. Okay, so at least you got something for getting such a huge lead. Or something like a chance at a fast forward. Like, okay, open up a clue. If you guys want to go for a fast forward, you can go for a fast forward. While teams are waiting 3 hours to catch up to you guys, you can go for a fast forward. I think
Exactly.
before
I would
bunch
totally
points,
agree with that.
there should be some sort of reward for those teams that are in first.
So,
I know.
Justin, I feel like you only experienced one half of that. I'd have to experience both halves of that.
Okay.
I did. I'd experience both. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, we finished in the front and we had to get equalized many a time. Like we got equalized. I think it would be a boring race without because teams would snowball. Like if there's not equalizers, Justin, we never would have caught up to y'all after Poland.
No,
'Cause
I
y'all
know.
would have-
I'm not saying there's not equalizers, but give the equalizer team something for getting that big lead rather than just saying, "Oh, you got 15
But
minutes."
again, it still snowballs.
If they use it right,
The team that's already in the lead, the advantage.
you give the team the lead, the express pass, and then you get wastedexpresspass.com. And, they were in the lead. They got the express pass. They wasted it. They didn't gain any advantage of it. You used it properly, and you won the leg. Like, that's how you use it, and you win. You don't use it and then get beat.
Yeah, but I think you're using a very specific example of someone making a very poor decision. And there's other ones too, John.
Right.
But I think in general, the teams that are in the lead are making smart decisions and will continue to make smart decisions. I think you're choosing a couple of specific examples where that doesn't apply.
So don't give the teams that have the huge lead any sort of advantage for being good at the race. Let the weak teams catch up
Well,
Maybe
and
we're just
eventually
for
win the
the-
race. And then we end
for
up
the
with Josh and
fans.
Brent.
I mean, for the fans, it is the best thing ever, right? I mean, you get to see all the teams that were in the back kind of catch up, and then kind of everything gets mixed up again.
And if
Everybody
you're
was
truly the
complaining.
best team, Justin, you'll still come out on top.
Yeah, I know.
Well, look at it this way. Victor and Jocelyn started in first place. They spent so much time trying to make rice paper that they could still be there right now.
I know.
Mhm.
And I said that.
Those are the types of it doesn't. So it really doesn't matter. I think the bunch of points are okay because if you're that good, you're just gonna go right back to the front.
Yep.
But you can make a mistake. You can be as good as you are, as like you, Justin. You can make one mistake. Keep your cab driving.
Yep.
Yep.
No,
Here come the
I
kids.
definitely learned the hard way. So there should have been a penalty on this leg. And there wasn't.
Right.
And I got video proof. Okay, so Victor Jocelyn, the boat task, right? The boat task, there were specific rules. Like you couldn't drag
Yes.
the basket all the way to the front of the boat. You had to kind of leave it there so one teammate could pass the fruit to another teammate.
Mhm.
Also, you couldn't leave your boat to like put those like fruits on another boat, right? You couldn't leave your boat. You had to stay on your boat, correct?
think so.
There wasn't a rule like
No,
how
it-
you pass,
I-
but the rule is you can't only hand out 2 fruit, like
It said-
one fruit at a time.
I think you had to
Yeah.
toss it. You couldn't just hand them a whole basket.
Yeah, you can't hand them a basket, but you have to you can only give out 1 fruit at a time.
Okay, because I believe somebody on one of the recap shows, I think it was Lena who said you're not allowed to leave your boat, and there's proof that Joe and Ian stepped onto Rob and Corey's boat to hand off their fruit. So they were on
Oh.
Rob and Corey's boat handing off fruit. Both feet were on that boat. Both hands were full of fruit, and they were handing off. So there should have been a potential penalty there. But
Yeah.
I figured since they forgot their they got their clue, they got
The rule.
they penalized
People were moving
themselves,
the
really.
baskets all around anyway.
Huh?
Yeah.
People were moving the baskets all around the boat anyway.
You can move
you
it
can
to a
move-
certain point, but you couldn't
Yeah.
move it to like
You
that.
can't, yeah,
You can't move it to the very bow of the,
Yeah.
of the boat.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't move it there, but
This
you
way,
can
like,
move it.
They wanted it to be 2 people doing the task. If you put it up to the
We
front,
needed some like jugglers, which would have been awesome.
yeah, right. The clowns from. So Todd played pro basketball in France. You could see he's got that just easily palming these things, like, and he could reach across to the other boat easily with his like 9 feet arms. Some teams were waiting in line for other teams to finish, and other teams decided to go past. What was your strategies if you got bunched up?
Oh,
I think we were fairly lucky because I think we were able to unload 2 of our baskets pretty quickly, and then
Yeah.
it was a third one where we had to wait for Todd and Ashley, and then so that's where
You think that was
yeah,
better
where
than
it pulled us.
going ahead and coming back?
well, because we had already like unloaded two of our fruit already.
Oh, so this is the third one. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
so
is
this
the
was the
third
third
one.
one. So we had no choice but to wait.
Yeah.
And we had to wait. I think there were 4 boats or 5 boats there at the same time.
Mhm.
And so
Wow.
we had to finally wait until Todd and Ashley finished.
Mhm.
After they finished, you wait 15, 20 minutes for that team to finish.
Mhm.
Then you still have to spend, your 15, 20 minutes to unload. So
Mhm.
every time you wait, you're put behind like 30 minutes. It was crazy.
Joey, what are you doing if you get there and it's busy? You can waiting or continuing?
Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to two things: the line, how far ahead the people who are on the task doing it, and
Mhm.
how far away is the next one.
Mhm.
Also, what's the river running like? Are you going to be able to follow the current down there rather quick, and then kind of have to battle it to come back, so you're not really going that fast? Because that it could be 5 minutes there and 15 minutes back.
Right.
So
Yeah.
especially if they weren't rowing, but those are the kind of things you want to think about.
Mhm.
Again, is it worth it to spend 20 minutes to do, like, for instance, I hate traffic. I will drive 5-10 extra minutes so I don't have to sit at one red light. Is that smart? No. But does it make me like more calm? Yes. So that's I would probably like I would look and say, okay, they got one basket less. We're gonna hold off here. But if they're just pulling up and they're fumble fucking around and can't do shit, then I'm gonna go past them.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
very
we.
superficial.
Yeah, but for us in that instance, we had to wait for Todd and Ashley, and we saw
'Cause
that because they were in terms of the two baskets, the other boat had more stuff than Todd and Ashley.
Right.
So
And if it's your
then
last one, it's your last
yeah.
one.
Mhm.
All right,
And
let's
so-
get to the elephant in the room. The wastedexpresspass.com part 2. Morgan and Lena, terrible use of the Express Pass.
Awful.
It wasn't great.
I think they're trying. I think it's
I got to stick up for them. I mean, I love the sisters. You know, it's race sprint. You don't know what's going on, but from what I understood, their boat was horrible. They didn't even get to the first place to unload when everybody else was doing it. So if they did not use that express pass, they would have been last. Like
They would have been
like,
last. They would have been last to the task that took them 3 times longer than the task that they were doing.
Right.
and then that all kind of snowballs, right? So then they could have been like an hour behind everybody else. They could have been an hour behind us trying to do it. If
They
did it.
finished at least an hour behind most teams, didn't they?
Here's my general blatant statement. In general, the longest challenges on a lead are detours, followed by roadblocks, followed by route infos. Not always. but
Right.
in
Generalities.
detours, roadblocks, route infos. So if you're going to have something where you can completely skip a challenge, detours are probably where your money's at.
Mm-hmm. Because detours are
disagree.
2-person jobs usually, which is why they're harder to do. They take longer. Roadblocks are 1-person jobs. They could be super fast if you have the skill, and they could be super long if you don't. And route infos are normally a lot easier than roadblocks and generally and detours.
But I will say, I want to speak to this specific case. The
Okay.
thing that I needed about the use of the Express Pass. Let's just take that aside. They were just having trouble with the boats. They needed to move past it. They knew they were having trouble with the boats on the front end. Why didn't they just immediately commit
Right.
to using the Express Pass, use it, and move on? I feel like there was a lot of back and forth, like trying to go to this, trying to go to that. Should we use this? Should we not?
Yeah.
Like by the time you do commit to using it, you've already wasted all that other much time. So like, I just didn't see it as
That's
being
what-
a strategic
James,
use.
that's exactly what I was going to say. First of all, I would never use Express Pass on the first task of a leg, unless it was just so astronomically difficult that neither one of us can do it. I wouldn't do that. I would save it for either the second one when you know you're already behind, or a roadblock, because roadblocks are the ones that Justin might be able to do it 10 times over and twice on Sundays, but he's not doing it. His wife is, and she can't do whatever that is.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's something like, I don't know, a video game. Let's use a
Yeah,
video
whatever.
game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We were there for hours and hours and hours because she can't play video games.
Yeah.
Tara.
It was literally hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
The dude playing
Right.
with one
You don't-
hand kept beating her.
and blindfold.
If I had the Express Pass, I would agree with you. I would save it for a roadblock. Just
You know,
because.
it's the first task of your leg,
Mhm.
and then you start like
Yeah.
James Jones said. They started it. They went. It takes time to get in that boat and go all the way out there, then make a decision, then turn around. No, you got to make that decision right when you tear the envelope and go. We're going ahead now.
Commit.
Mhm.
Commit.
You're going to buy maximum amount of time.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
lost time. It was useless.
Well, but yeah, but the thing is, on the race, it's so hard.
Oh
right?
my
I mean,
God, yeah.
If
you
you're a
go
nice
sleep-
guy,
yeah.
I am not.
I can speak to it though because I successfully used an Express Pass to win a lead.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
And where
did.
did you use it?
Huh? I
Where
used
did
it
you
at the detour.
At the
It was the
detour.
last challenge of the detour.
Yeah.
Was
That was
that
the last
was that
challenge.
Before the roadblock or after?
So there was it was a double roadblock ledge from what I remember,
Okay.
right? Wasn't it? That was almost.
It was a keep on racing leg. So It was that second part of it. So you got there.
Yes, it was a keep on racing lead. We got it. We had to use it that lead.
Yep.
We got to the detour, and then we did the roadblock. Then we got to the detour, used it for the detour, and that's when we got to like the Lions pit, which is a route info.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you put the basket on your head and walked right past us, and I was furious. A slow motion race. It's literally a slow motion foot race to the.
The background of it, we weren't as slick as we thought we were because we had practice with those two baskets for like 5 minutes before, and then had to go back to it.
Oh man. So paper or plastic. Okay. Reading this clue, I'm plastic. Diana's plastic all day. She would have made the call. Our default was Diana makes the call on all of them. Whatever she wants to do or not do. If she doesn't make a decision, I will. She would have picked plastic because she loves vinyl. She has a Cricut. She vinyl things all the time. So she would have wanted to do that. It was obviously 3 times harder than the paper was for most teams, except Victor and Josh.
I know.
Well.
I think you guys still did it faster. Probably did your paper faster than they did vinyl.
I
Exactly,
would have to
exactly,
say
yes.
that it doesn't show that, but I think Todd and Ashley, Todd is hilarious, right? He towers over us. He's over there cracking jokes, and I blame him for distracting the judges. Like, if you go back and you review the rice paper themselves, I think the judge really liked Todd because of his entertainment value more than the quality of his rice paper. And then for us, we were screwed because there's Todd, there's like Ken and Barbie, beautiful people standing next to us, and there's 2 of us like, oh gosh, rice paper.
No, I think the judge must have wanted to see the 2 Asian people like
Dominate
really,
this.
really struggle at this. Yeah.
Perfection. And then the crazy part is, like, if you see them what they don't show you is they reject a bunch of stuff, the stuff that he previously approved. He then go back and reject it, and we're looking at him. I was so confused, and that's where you see me go, "Won't be here until tomorrow."
Oh yeah.
Because he was just like it was no rhyme and reason. Clearly he approved, and then when we said, and he said 2 more, and then we asked for a check, he's like, "Oh no," and then it become 3 more. Like, what the hell? It was 2 earlier.
So
Guys, that was not an
judges
issue.
aren't the judges. It's the producers. Because like one time when we were doing that rap in France, the artist Passe handed Mom and me the clue and got really excited once the producer was like, "No, I'm sorry."
Yeah, let's never talk about that again.
Yeah, so I did watch Coqueta Chat, and Lena was on there, and she tried to say that she used it. They used that Express Pass 5 minutes into the leg. I'm calling bullshit because I got video receipts. Like, they literally went to 2 separate boats, and there's no way, if they're sitting there complaining about how long it's taking, that it was only 5 minutes, because they're on there complaining about the ride and waiting, and we sitting there watching them for probably 5 minutes of airtime. So there's no way it was 5 minutes when they used it. So I'm calling BS on that from the Coqueta Chat.
You can call BS on the 2 Asian people that don't know how to make rice paper.
Yeah, like, I'm a little disappointed in you. Like, my brother's Vietnamese. I have an adopted brother who's Vietnamese, and I love those Vietnamese egg rolls. So I have definitely wrapped hundreds of those things during Christmas time. I've wrapped them.
Wrap them, not a problem.
But cooking them, I wouldn't have tried because it sounds like it's really hard. But if I would have seen the thing that says cook it and it only takes 30 seconds to cook, then I would have done that. Because if you cook 300, if you cook 100 of them, it takes what? 3,000 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, if you wanted to make 100 of them, and meanwhile,
Did it say 30 seconds though, Justin?
I think it said it cooked them for 30 seconds. I don't know if you had to watch.
I timed it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like,
No. When you read the directions of which ones you want to do, did you know it cooked for 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's what I said. If it was on the paper, then I would have picked it. If not, we would have went to plastic because cooking challenges are tough.
Yeah.
Well, when you make, you got, when you make your rice paper about this big, right? And then you got the person next to you making your rice paper like.
Exactly.
I don't know who did that.
That was my point. It was like when I saw the video of Todd and Ashley, that's
It was like
I need a
5-inch rice
prop.
paper.
It
Yeah.
was like it was this small versus this big. Like, holy shit! If I just needed to make this small, then I would have totally done that. Good God!
Because when you watch the old man doing it, I mean, they were like 2 feet across. It was
and they're perfect. He's just so perfect.
Oh yeah.
How-
I mean,
like
he's been doing it since he was 5. I'm sure.
people were like having trouble with the bat. Like it seemed like the bat thing was harder. The hardest part was trying to pick it up. What was the?
It was just like I told her. Yeah.
Oh, it was a piece of cake. We got lost a little bit getting there. I think that also kind of killed us a little bit.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know
guys
what's
went
wrong
right
with
past
Victor.
it. What was that brain? Come on, guys. That
I don't
wasn't even
know.
hidden.
Like at home, he is always good at. I mean, in terms of us driving, he is always the navigator because he's like, "Oh, I got this. I can map the same thing in my head." But then I don't know what happened on the race. Like he keep getting lost, and we walk past stuff, and then yeah.
You're hungry and tired. I'm telling you, lead 3 is where it starts.
Yeah.
You see teams starting to crumble around lead 3.
Like the first boat went out at 5:45. We were there on the dock at 5 easily. Yeah. And we got there like midnight or something.
So Joel's nickname was Pierre because he used to make a lot of crepes, and he was doing a really good job. But the problem that Joel and Garrett had was they were self-judging. Never, ever, ever, anybody watching, never, ever self-judge. If you're doing a judge task, don't stop until they tell you to stop. Even if you think you messed up, don't throw out your stuff on your own. Let them tell you it's stuff. You could present 700 of them, and he has to go through them. There's no benefit to throwing one away on yourself. And I think that Joel and Garrett, they saw like cracks on the edges and threw it away, where some teams were getting by with the cracks on the edges. So never, ever self-judge yourself on a task. Ever. If there's anything you can learn from this show, write that down. Never self-judge. Joel and Garrett. I think Joel and Garrett could have won this leg. It didn't really matter because he didn't get anything on a keep on racing leg, which is a whole nother problem. Give the damn winning team a damn prize.
The leg's not over. The leg's not over.
If you see Phil, you get a prize. If you're the first one to see Phil, you should get a prize. Then don't have Phil. Don't have Phil. Don't have Phil.
Don't have Phil.
We had him in Iceland.
They say this is a team. This is a season with no non-elimination legs. You know why? This is a non-elimination leg because Phil was there. You went to a pit stop. You ripped open another clue, and it said, for this leg of the race, you get 20 cents or $5,500.
You talked to Annalise. Is that why you're trying to like get her some prizes?
No, because we had 2 legs where we didn't get prizes.
Like, I didn't get anything.
We had 2 legs where we didn't get a prize, and the same thing happened.
Hot button topic all week. This is a hot button topic of whether or not it was a non-elimination leg, and Phil's a big fat liar. I know James, who's in the chat, interviewed a bunch of people. He feels completely differently than I am. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that and disagree with probably everyone else. It's like, you know what? Phil is the most awesome, the best, the coolest clue box that the Amazing Race has. That's all that was.
Yeah.
They got to a point, they grabbed another clue, and they kept going.
There's no reason to have Phil.
It's a non-elimination leg. That's coming from someone that was saved from the exact scenario. So like I came in last.
It's a keep on racing leg.
Yeah,
a non-elimination leg, you have to do a speed bump. Did you do a speed bump?
I did not do a speed bump.
Did you do a speed bump?
No.
Okay, so I did a speed bump when we came in last in
I was
Vietnam.
told by Phil that I came last in this leg.
It's a keep on racing leg.
Yeah, but you are the last team to arrive.
But I was told
it's not non-elimination.
But we're not eliminated. Keep racing. That's like pretty much verbatim what I was told.
The technicality is you don't get the speed bump and you don't get a night's rest, right? So that's
right.
You don't get
already
prizes.
behind, right? The other team is already starting ahead. That's the disadvantage. The other team is already going.
No cassiola.
Trust me, we know. We nothing. Nathan. 2 nothings.
No little plate. Nothing. No food.
All right. We'll continue this debate, but let's finish the quick recap just in case. All right. So Joel's nickname is Pierre. Joel and Garrett self-judging. Jocelyn and Victor run right past the cooking stations. Didn't seem like it was hidden at all. You can actually see the other teams from the street. Andrea and Milena arrive. All the stations are taken. Do you wait?
Just interrupt him. Say he's wrong.
What?
They're like shaking their head.
What? You couldn't see the people from the street?
No,
Okay,
it wasn't a street. It was like an
wasn't a street.
alleyway
It was an alley.
that was like 3 feet wide.
You know who we saw? We were asking for directions. And then I see Annalie like running. And that's where you see me go, there they are. And then so we turn around and we start.
But we didn't know where the heck they ran from.
Yeah, so they were running out from this corner and then out because we were asking for directions. And then I saw Annalie like in her red hair just running towards it. And I told Victor, like, let's go. And then so we went that way wherever they were coming out from. And then we started running. But then I think the problem was there wasn't an obvious, like the usual.
The sign wasn't it.
There was no sign, no flag. And I kept looking for the flag. I'm like, I must be blind. There's no, where's the yellow orange? Yellow red, wait. And it was not there.
All right, Andrea and Milena arrive. All of the things are full. The other task is literally 2 to 3 minutes away from you. Do you wait?
I wait. Because I would have waited because I just knew that I couldn't do the vinyl thing. So I would have waited.
You know what you do? You take one of those giant backpacks that they have, open it up, and go take a nap in it. And then take after shit and throw it out. They're bigger than they are. They're the most biggest backpacks I've ever seen. And they have like side belt pockets and shit.
I am shocked that they've become this big because I don't know about on y'all season, but like after like 1 on our season, like everyone's badge shrunk in half. And by the time we got to like leg 4, Mom and I had like completely gotten rid of one entire backpack.
Yeah.
Tara dumped half my shit out at the airport.
Yeah, we had a hairdryer. Well, so should have.
I never used a hairdryer. It was gel.
So, Victor, Jocelyn, did you bring one backpack because you watched the races recap?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah. I mean, people. It's not that it's a smart move. It's you don't put your backpack into the trunk of the taxi, right? You carry it with you. Why waste those precious few seconds? And one backpack is just logistically so much easier. But I mean, I get it. Maybe, these people, maybe they'll live across the country from each other. But if you live near each other, then why not just bring one?
I'm gonna bring up my race paper again to get a couple quotes from the interwebs this week. Why does Jocelyn and Victor have only one backpack? Response: because Victor is a real man.
That was an actual response.
Can I comment to something that's in the chat?
Hey, that's why.
Of course, always.
So Thomas McGee is saying, like, if you did a 12-hour rest period, the lead is over. So that's why it's not an elimination. That 12-hour rest period is from like super duper early tar race. Like that is not a thing.
Who had a 12-hour rest period?
4 hours. Sometimes you get like 12. Sometimes you get like
36.
Like, I had enough time to take a dump and wash my underwear in the sink at the same time.
It ebbs or flows. There's not a dedicated like 12-hour pit stop anymore.
No, somebody in chat, did Justin only have one backpack on his season? No, because there was no Racers recap before our season. Nobody told us that. Nobody gave us a heads up. Nowhere online did anybody say that. 26 seasons of Racers, and not one of them mentioned that, hey, you only need one backpack.
Yeah, but if you end up going and talking to all the racers, everyone talks about how they dump tap their stuff. So before you go on the race, if you're ever on it, look at your backpack, take down half of it and leave it at home because it's going to end up in some random country.
Oh, I was so crazy. I was starting to weigh my underwear. Which underwear is lighter?
Now that's a little crazy. All right, let's finish this leg here. All right, they get the keep on racing leg. They rip the clue. They get 5,500 dong, which is 20 cents, by the way. I was told that you guys got 5 million dong to start the
I was feeling like, hey,
the first leg, and you guys thought you were rich, and it's like 120 bucks.
God. I actually knew the currency exchange, so like it meant nothing. But it was funny to go, hey, I'm a millionaire, 5 million dong.
You got 5 million dong to start this leg, and then you look down, 120 bucks.
Like, yeah.
So the next leg, they only have 20 cents, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, so Steve and Anna Lee win the leg. Joel and Garrett second. Rob and Corey being really consistent up here. Up at third, we got Todd and Ashley. Robin and Chelsea stepping up. Morgan, Lena. Joel and Ian. Greg and John. Yes, I still haven't said Jocelyn and Victor. Andrea and Milena. And now Jocelyn and Victor. And then... the brothers, the beefy military brothers, the beautiful model-looking brothers getting smoked. What's going on here?
It's because their backpacks weighed 70
Big-
pounds
yeah.
a piece.
Yeah.
They were huge.
They were huge.
They're not doing bad on the tasks either. Why are they always so far back?
They finished 8th and 11th.
But they're not bad at the tasks.
No, but that vinyl was hard. That vinyl was hard because they got to their vinyl before we got to rice paper, and we still left before that.
Vinyl took teams like an hour and a half, whereas the rice seemed to take teams about a half hour ish.
Joey, I think wasn't this lead, and I may have gotten confused because I watched a couple of different episodes today. Was this the lead where like they went to the wrong place and they had like another 40-minute drive? Or was that episode 2?
No, that was like
episode 2, but they whoa, happy birthday.
What the hell is that shit?
Happy birthday.
That's your joke.
My hands are down here. I didn't even do anything to my computer.
Was that like a
Dude, I can do that. Hold on.
did somebody like pay $5 to make that happen or something like that? I didn't see.
What just happened there?
I give you money.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, somebody just donate. I didn't pop up on my screen. All right. So there it is. Next week, teams are exhausted, digging through barrels of fish. Joe and Ian drop 2 mattresses in the street. Annalise says the fish are wiggly. Morgan and Lena feel pressure as they're battling Jocelyn and Victor in some sort of roadblock, searching for something. And then I watched the sneak peeks, and you could see it's a detour where people got to choose between delivering mattresses or filling up 12 baskets full of different kind of fish. And it seems like this could be very interesting. So if you have the detour where you have to deliver mattresses in a city that has some probably weird addresses, it's hard to find locations while carrying king-size mattresses, or dealing with some live, some dead fish, filling up 12 baskets from 12 different fish.
Mhm.
What are you doing?
asking us?
Well, I know what you guys can't answer, so.
I've run through the streets of Vietnam before with various shit before. It's not fun. I'm doing the fish.
Doing the
That was one of my favorite moments with Brooke when she is just losing her mind. You know, like hearing like the mannequins, right? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Oh, she was losing her mind.
I
had
know,
the
that
one
was
I had
funny.
the one about a boob. The hand fell off. I'm like, oh,
Jesus. I don't like delivering tasks. I'd rather just do something in place.
Yeah, something that
Yeah.
you know has an end, and you can, if you do it right, you could just finish it. And whereas now, if you don't find a place you have to find the place, then you talk to people who don't speak the same language. It's tough. I would probably do the
it
fish
sounds like
task.
that task in remember in India they had to walk out in the water with the fish baskets and load them all up.
Do not want to go
Oh
in the
yeah, that
water.
was hard.
That was awesome.
Water in India. All right, let's get to. We got some questions we'll get to in a second here. If you guys still have time, we'd appreciate you hanging out, Jocelyn and Victor, because there's a couple for you. But let's do our awards. My Superfan Award I'm giving out. I think this is a pretty easy one to give out this time. I'm going absolutely Anna Lee for crushing it, saving her team 30 minutes, getting into the first boat to start the leg by being smart and looking through all of the remaining numbers. So definitely something I suggest on any time that there is grab a time task, is to make sure you look at every single one before making your selections. So that is my Superfan move. James Earl, what do you got for us?
So it's not an exactly moment. It's just kind of a feel, and it's kind of a feel for the whole season so far. But I really want to give like my seal clap to Rob and Corey, because they have just like, I've not given them a lot of love this season yet, but like they are so freaking cute together, and the way they like just communicate and talk and just like everything. I just want to give them a seal clap for not a moment, but like everything, a feeling.
The most consistent team on the race, second, and third.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that I don't see anybody hating on them for any reason. They have not done anything to give anybody a reason
Find a villain this season.
to not like them. This cast is awesome so far. Joey, what are you doing?
Experience relationship advice. My ERA goes to right now. They are below me right there. Those two. They started freaking out a little. I loved it. Well, they're over there now. All right,
Wait,
they're
who,
above you.
us?
yeah, Jocelyn, because when you guys are unflustered, you are so on, and then when things start to get a little shaky, you can see yourself starting to like, but you kind of hold it in. I'm very curious to see what happens in the hotel after when you get a break, because you can see like, you know, you'd be like, yeah. So anyway, are you out of your fucking mind? Like you guys put it together very nicely. It's still supportive. I think there's going to be something happening where one of you snaps. I think it's going to be Jocelyn. Because Vic's just like, I don't know.
I'm also
I
very nervous now
can't wait
because
for the stress
when
to
they
really start
finally
getting in.
drop this
But you guys doing great.
I would have to say that I am very grateful for Amazing Race. I did went a little crazy at the dock when we're picking out the time slot, and then when we got there, I seriously go, what the? And I told Victor, I was like, it's all. And I was looking at the camera, and I told the producer, I said, see that bathroom over there? I have to go and excuse myself, beat him up, and come out, and then we're gonna go, go, go.
Oh my
And then,
gosh.
so I'm really grateful that they did not show that on air on national television, because I think my girls will be, who's that?
Your girls are the cutest things ever on the history of the world.
Aw.
Like they are so cute.
Vic,
Can I say one,
Here you go.
sir, can I say one thing, and it's a little related to where Jocelyn and Victor were at mentally this round. And I think when you're at the back of the pack, it's a lot harder to race at the back of the pack than the front of the pack. When your feet are into the fire, the one thing I want to tell all future racers is to remember is because you're in a team, when you get frustrated, it's easy to take out those frustrations on your teammate. But you have to remember, like, that is your partner. If they fail, you fail. So, like, you have to try to treat them like how you would treat yourself, right? So you need to, like, continue to try to lift them up even when you're frustrated, because you're on the same team. So if you spiral, it's when you're down in control. And Mom and I had this issue on leg 3. And we got the penalty because of it. And, like, I sat down with her, like, at the mat and then in the hotel room afterwards. And I was like, this will not work if we are fighting. I was like, we cannot fight. We really just have to move past those feelings and then just be there to support each other. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially when you start getting tired and hungry on the race. And I'm saying that to the racers, Jocelyn and Victor, y'all are freaking precious in real life. And this is a pressure cooker for anybody. So this is not an attack on y'all. It's a comment on the race. That makes sense?
No, but I think that our actual dynamic is more like what you saw at the rice paper making challenge. We made a pact going into this. This is why you see this so much. It was kind of our code word, right? It's like, hey, hey, just check yourself. Got to make sure, it was kind of everything. It's like, I hate you right now to I love you to everything, because we knew that if we got at each other's throat, man, we just lose like immediately.
That would be for anybody, any team. If you start getting at each other, you're spiraling.
Yeah, and couples are the toughest, because like one word could set off a whole argument. Just one look for me and Diana. I look at her one way, argument. Just for me looking at her, like turning around and look. Don't look at me like, well, what? And
then it goes into like how you fold the towels or something.
Yeah,
and,
so
you drive too quick.
It takes a big man to be able to just like to do it and allow that to happen. So I it's a skill that I hope to acquire still in my marriage. So kudos for you, because that you got to have somebody that can ground you and somebody that can stand up and say something that may sound offensive, but you be able to take it in the moment and then deal with it when you get back to the hotel and be like, listen.
For me, that's James Earl.
Yeah, we have James Earl and Jen to keep us in check. Otherwise, me and Joey will go way off the rails.
We've seen it.
All right, so we got some questions. Feel free to answer if you like. Thoughtful of something reader. Are there any tasks from any old seasons that you would have taken a penalty and not been able to do? 0. No, easy for me. There's nothing on the race that I've ever seen. The only one that I don't think I'd be able to finish would have been the eating 7 pounds of meat. I'm a vegetarian. I mean, that would have probably been tough. I think it was tough for anybody who tried it. But I would have not taken the penalty. I would have tried it, and I would have, eventually tried to get through it. Other than that, I don't see any task. James Earl, Joey, Victor?
I ain't no bitch.
The what?
I ain't no bitch.
Shaven heads, tattoos, piercings.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't care. I
No,
love meat.
because I asked her, if we had a shaving your head thing for an express pass or fast forward, would you do it? I asked her before we left, and her response was 100% no. She'd
Really?
be like, Rachel, it's like, I'm not gonna shave my head for $1 million. Like, you're crazy. I would do anything for.
Your hair is short enough that you could literally grow that length in a year.
You don't understand. It takes 3 years to grow this long. I don't have a
Listen,
lot of hair.
my brother is Asian. His
can buy
hair
a lot
grows
of wigs.
way faster than mine. His hair is like, he grows long, straight, 12 inches in 1 year. Come
This is
on.
a little off topic. I saw a clip recently from the current season of The Amazing Race Australia where a team, one pierced their nose and the other person was like, no, I can't do that. I said that to mom and I was like, I would beat your ass if I had my nose pierced. And you're just sitting there like,
James will hold his mother in a headlock. Give me your goddamn thing.
Yeah, I would have picked Diana up and pushed her down that slide, just like. There's all right. So the only thing was not shaving your head. Other than that, everything else would have been a go for you, Jocelyn.
I think for the most part, like if I know for a fact that if I really shave my head, I'm gonna win, I would probably still do it. But then it's not like I would do it like, yeah, it would be like, no, more.
I was
more
prepared for
tears.
tattoos, piercings, shave the head. I was prepared for it all going on.
Yeah,
Oh.
you'd have to.
I don't think I can do piercing. I would definitely, if I had to pick piercing and shave my head, I would go with shave my head. Not
If they said put on a bulletproof vest and get shot in your chest, I'd do it. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's not like what would I can't see anything. Like, if their insurance agent says okay, then I know I'm safe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. There's nothing I can do. But
we did more stupid things, right? We were literally walking with like the lions and had a stick. They gave us a stick and they're like, the lion runs at
stick.
you, beat the stick.
yeah, if he turns around, beat the stick. If he turns around, I'm running because I'm faster than you.
Literally, that was our safety plan. They were like, you have to do the safety huddle beforehand. And they hand us the stick and they're like, if the lion comes at you, beat the stick.
Well, speaking of getting beat with a stick, Logan Super Kuwaki, the Tar historian, is in chat. So if you ever want to know anything about Tar, he will drop some knowledge for you in chat. Also, quick shout out to Lewis and Michelle and Michael for setting it up. They did the bug eating challenge. So if you want to see the bug eating challenge, there was a throwdown, Lewis versus Michelle in their last croqueta chat. So just Google croqueta chat or Lewis and Michelle and make sure you check it out because it is fun to watch. All right. So they said, I love this new archetype of middle-aged parents / superfans who are dominating the race, i.e. Hung and Chi, i.e. Jocelyn and Victor, i.e. Kim and Penn. They're off to a great start. Here's to hoping it continues. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, if they called you today, would you go on Survivor? Would anybody go on Survivor? I'd go on Survivor. I wouldn't be.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would crush Survivor, Justin.
I think you would. I think of all of the four of us, I think you would do the best.
I would crush it. You have no idea how good at puzzles I am.
Yeah.
Like,
What about swimming? Are you good at swimming?
I am.
I'm phenomenal. That's the one thing that I know I'm better than anybody at. Like I can hold my breath for over 2 minutes.
One thing?
Wow.
I mean, like on Survivor, there's a lot of things that I'm not good at, but like I'm terrible at untying knots. I can tie 15 different knots. I know how to tie them. Untying them, I'm terrible. Puzzles, some of them I'm terrible at. But swimming,
You know what your downfall on Survivor would be, right? It's the social game.
social game, 100%, because I'm not really self-aware.
You know what show Victor wants to be on? He wants to be on Naked and Afraid.
Oh, you'll get a call if you really want to. You could get a call.
Our season.
I know.
Connect you to Alex our season. He's been on like 3 times.
Yeah, a guy from our season was on. Alex Shade was on. There's a couple people who've been on that, and I know some other people have been offered. Some other amazing races have been offered to be on that show.
No, there's no money. I wouldn't do it. There's no money involved.
You get a really cool necklace.
But you do get money from a lot of appearances and things like that if you want to, and you tend to go back for like multiple times, build up a social following, and then once you have a social following, you have people willing to give you money. Okay.
Come on, Vic, I bet you got a nice shitter back there.
What do you think is the optimal age to go on the Amazing Race?
I don't know if there is one.
I'd say about 35.
Enough experience,
35,
enough youth. You have to have enough youth to still like have that stamina for that long, because this is a long race and it's tough, but also enough age to have the wisdom.
Yes.
I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to do the math. and see like average ages for top 3 placements.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I would definitely say mid-30s is probably the best, because you're just about hitting that maturity level that you have enough wisdom to know not to do the stupid things, and you're still in peak physical shape, hopefully in your 30s. So I would guess for me it'd be late 30s.
Any shape at all.
I mean, I was 40 and Diana was 30, so together we were 35. How old were you when you ran the race, James Earl?
I was 46 and could outrun anyone on that.
26:52, and you were 46, Joey?
46 and could outrun anyone on that race. Anyone. Cole dusted you, if I remember, on one specific leg. So there was nobody named Cole on my season.
Cole was 28.
Cole's 28. All right.
And I ran the Boston Marathon 11 times.
Yeah, long. A marathon is a long, slow race.
So is the race. The amazing
slow.
Race. You see what I deal with every week now.
So what is what is your team's archetype? Mine, I don't know. They tried to make us villains, but we were America's sweethearts.
Yeah, precious baby.
Shut up. That's what it is. I'm moving on.
This is someone who was nice to you during the race, but this is also someone who did not like you during the race.
Listen, and nobody likes somebody who continuously beats you, whether you know what I mean, at anything.
And beating people had nothing to do with people not liking you. Trust me.
I'm sure. I know. I was just too excited. I was a super fan, and I told everybody too early that I loved the race and I knew everything. And
I didn't like you because you started crying on the first thing. You seemed like I'm a big fat know-it-all, and now I'm going home on the first day.
Yeah.
And the fact that you kept saying that I was dying laughing.
You're welcome. Someday you'll learn to express your feelings. All right. So
okay, we're gonna do your season on this show. And we are going to have a fill. I will be the host for the week.
I'm gonna cry every leg. All right.
So every day.
So what would be the best pairing of all the hosts for the Amazing Race? Or what would be the best 2 pairings? Justin, James Earl, Jen, Joey, Jen. Who do you think?
I think Jen, James Earl would be a fucking killer combo to beat.
No, Jen and Joey all day.
Everybody wants Jen. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely pick Jen. If I couldn't have Diana, Jen would be my next pick out of every racer ever.
Several times.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd pick any one of you. I would race.
Oh no, any combo of us would do. We'd be successful in the race, just for the record.
Different
combo match of us.
Me and Joey would fight. I respect James Earl enough to not fight him. Joey, not so much. Like,
well, it would be hilarious.
I also learned to just if
we race together, it would be gold. It would be video gold.
And I could never see myself arguing with Jen. I could argue with Joey all day, James Earl sometimes.
We do argue all day.
Hey, Jocelyn Victor, real quick, because what's been y'all's favorite moment of the race so far? I just want to have a little more insight from y'all.
Yeah, go for it.
What's so far the favorite moment? I think the market challenge was just absolutely. We were having fun. We were joking with everybody. They were giving us free samples of fruit as we were running down the market.
You were eating?
So we were eating samples of fruit. Yeah, it's like, hey, you're running. Fruit. We're gonna give you something so we can be on TV. So.
Wow, that's lucky.
That's awesome.
I think my favorite moment is where like we're doing the interview, and then of course I said Jocelyn made a mistake, and Victor goes, "Heart, forgiven."
It wasn't the cute. It wasn't the cute. Hey, you're actually forgiven kind of thing. It's like. You actually made a mistake, and I get to own that because it's on national television.
Hey, he forgive me, like forgiven, like there you go. That was the sweet moment, right? I'm forgiven. I made a mistake.
Absolutely. So, is there anything that you wish they would have shown that they haven't shown yet, or something that you want to let the America know about Team Retail Love that hasn't been out there yet?
Well, I think the only thing I really, really wanted to show was that at Hollywood Sign, I was telling a story because Phil was asking, hey, does anybody have anything to say? And I said, I do. And then so I said, I was telling 我做到了, which means I did it in Chinese. And then so because I was saying, because my dad, I was telling Dad, hey Dad, we're gonna be on the show. And my dad's like, mm-hmm. And then at the airport, this is what my dad, so we're giving each other hugs. Hey, you would think that typical parents say congratulations, like do well, blah blah blah. Here's my dad, Victor. Don't listen to her. She is always wrong. And I'm like, what? So it's that, and I thought, hey dad, this is my moment. I'm gonna tell you I'm right. I'm on the show.
Well, if you guys don't know, Team Retail Love has a YouTube channel, and they are doing recaps, and I would highly suggest you go and check them out. They are absolutely adorable, as you can see, and they are excellent racers, so I'm sure they got some inside information that they could give you as the legs go by. And
I'm also going to watch it for this villain moment I have.
I know. So I was specifically told by one team that I will see something on this season that was directly affected by something that I said on the Racers recap. Joel and Garrett already said that they did something, and it will air something that was specifically because of something that they heard on this show. And then you guys came on, and now you guys listened to the show, and so now who's gonna win? Is it gonna be you guys or Joel and Garrett? Because obviously it's gonna be a team that listens to the recap.
Obviously.
No, we appreciate you, and we love that you are representing the Amazing Race. This cast is actually phenomenal. I'm not embarrassed to have anybody on this cast, and usually there's a team or two that I would just I wish they weren't a part of the family, but every family has those. Is there anything you want to promote? Can people buy stuff from your store online, like your retail store, if they want to?
That's so sweet of you. Yeah, definitely. So our store is called Thailand Market, and we sell food from around the world, and it's a really, really wonderful experience. So if you're ever in New Mexico, stop by and check us out.
You can buy stuff online, but you have to be there to experience, right? It's like you can watch The Amazing Race on TV, but you don't know what it's like till you're actually on it. You got to experience it.
Well,
and if you want to try crickets, we sell them.
See, I was just about to say, you should put together a package of things and be like, this is the Amazing Race package, and just sell it online. People would buy that stuff just to support you.
Victor, we're doing that tomorrow.
Let's
Thank
go.
You so much.
Forget our recap. Let's do that right now.
You got your online cricket business. Joey, James Earl, anything you want to get off your chest before we close this?
No, I had fun tonight.
Just had so much fun tonight. Thank you so much, Jocelyn Victor. You guys are awesome. It's such a pleasure watching you this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to all 200 of you that have tuned in so far, thank you so much for hitting that like button, for subscribing, for continuing to support someone silly like us, or talking about our favorite show. A bunch of super fans who got to live their dream and are sharing what little information that we have with you, and a whole lot of love goes behind what we do. Again, none of us do this for the money. We do this because we love the Amazing Race and we love sharing our experiences. So thank you for continuing to support us just by watching, liking, subscribing. It means the world. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have, and for you to spend any of it here with us means the world. Thank you. The whole team will be back next week.
Bye.
We'll see you later.